I was thinking at that moment, is he strong enough to beat Van der Poel in the sprint? But
Asgreen roars across the line.
The biggest win of Kasper Asgreen's career.
Step floors are the world champions.
His personality and also as a rider is an amazing person. So
I really believed in him. But then I went absolutely insane when he actually did it.
Sometimes you have to say stop with pain in the heart.
I was there when he won Idrie Harelbeke, when he won Tour of Flanders. I was there also when he won the stage and Tour de France.
You stay optimistic and keep a positive mindset, then I think most things become a lot easier in life.
It's Flanders Classics, it's the Schelde Prijs. It's a race that's been dominated by the sprinters, and one sprinter in particular, Marcel Kittel, here to defend his title again.
I think with Kasper, the story was always a little bit special. I mean, he came into the team because we lost a rider due to a heavy crash in South Africa.
And we were looking around, and then Kasper did a stage with us when he was younger. But for one of reason or others, he could not passing pro, not with us and not with others. And I don't have that much contact with Bjarne Risch, but Bjarne was not in professional cycling anymore, but he called me. And I think that Bjarne, he's a serious guy, and he called me and said, Patrick, you should take Kasper Asgreen. I said, why? He said, well, he's a serious guy, he's strong, you will see, you will not regret.
I had already managed to secure a few good results at that point of the season, so I was lucky to get the shot, and that's how it all started.
So I think his first race with us was the Schelde Prijs in Belgium, and there he made it already to the final. He was already there, important to close the gap to make it a bunch sprint.
Fabio Jakobsen's going to do it! Wow! And Jakobsen for Quick-Step.
A pretty surreal experience to leave home with a suitcase full of my clothing from my continental team, and then flying back a couple of weeks later with a suitcase and a bike from Quick-Step. So and already having started my first race and being there helping out Fabio until 3K to go, closing gaps, and him taking the victory. So it was a nice way to get started.
Second time I did a race with him was the Hammer Series in Norway. There we did a team time trial, and after the race he said, which at that moment I thought was a little bit arrogant, he said even alone I would have gone faster.
He's quite a TT man, character also. Very, very, in German they say pünktlich, very strict. Everything has to be all right. He's always thinking about how my bike can go faster. Very involved with aerodynamica and all those things.
Kasper is just brilliant, I must say. So he's that kind of guy that is waking up every day with some new ideas, some new stuff, whatever. Just pushing you really till the last and the limits. So to find the best material, the best whatever. So he wants everything perfect. That's Kasper.
Off the bike, I think he's a very, very bright person. On the bike, he's like many riders, he's sort of turning into like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, I haven't been in a bunch with him, but I heard something, when he's coming, he's sort of fearless, but that's not really the Kasper, when you speak to him, he's very gentle. For sure, he's a very smart, educated person. He's sort of guy, when you call him, he always call you back.
The first time that I met Kasper was when he came to the team. It was about in the middle of the season when he joined us, and we went to the Hammer Series in Limburg in the Netherlands. That was his first race with us. And on the way back after the race, I need to bring him to the airport of Brussels. So it was about 1 hour and a half that we need to drive. And then in the middle of that transfer, he was asking me to bring him to Amsterdam. And I said, and why? Because we need to go to Brussels. He said, but if I fly from Amsterdam, then I have a direct flight home. And if I fly from Brussels, I need to have an extra flight then. So I told him, Kasper, listen, at this moment we go to Brussels. Maybe the next seasons, if you make some results, we can swap to Amsterdam. That was our first contact.
They signed him to do a bit the job that I was doing, but immediately we saw he was capable of doing so much more. I think he fitted in very well with how the team was designed. Sure, at that time, I think he had a remarkable influence of how we did in the classics with so many guys capable of winning the race, and then he was for sure one of the best of the best. So it was nice to race those races with him.
He improved, I must say, quite quickly in the team, and you saw he had a quality. I mean, if you see Kasper in normal life, if you see him on a TT bike, then you see the length of his legs, which is quite impressive.
To be honest, he's one of the best looking riders on the bike. When you see him pedaling, the way he's pedaling with his upper body, with his skinny legs, for me it's the same league like Van der Poel, Wout van Aert, Francesco Moser, Eddie Merckx. He looked like a movie star on the bike. I love to watch him racing.
So then we selected him, I think the best team time trial we ever did in Innsbruck, and he was there.
Quick-Step floors have gone to the top of the leaderboard by 30 seconds.
And I must say he also had a very, very big part in the victory. There was one really hard climb in the course. He did it all by himself. He set there the pace for the team.
This is the speed of Quick-Step. Look at that, well over 100k an hour. They are absolutely flat out. This team are racing and racing for gold.
I also love the way he pushes everyone to the limit.
There you go. They can still get silver here today. Gold.
It was an incredible experience there to be on the podium with the guys like Terpstra and Yves and Schachmann and these guys that I had been watching on television only the years before. So really nice.
And as a neo-pro, to handle your nerves in the way he did was quite impressive. And from there on, I think we knew he was just a guy that would give us victories and was very important for the team. Yeah.
When I came in April, there 1st of April, I joined the team. It was like the only thing I asked if it was possible to maybe be part of the team time trial squad at the World Championships at the end of the year, because I knew it was the last time I was going to be there, and I consider myself a fairly decent time trialist. So it was. I thought it would be a nice experience to have before they shut down that discipline, and so it was the only thing I asked of the team when I joined. Otherwise, I was just there to learn and help as much as I possibly could.
He was young. It was a little bit of risk for us to take young. He was not that young, but he was quite new. To take him in the world's TTT, and he was one of the motors of the win.
We're talking about the Ronde van Vlaanderen. This a distillation of everything that cycling is about.
There was nobody of us in the first small groups behind, so we knew Orit will be second, or it will be no prize, no result. So we decided to let him ride. A lot of people didn't understand why, but it's not our nature. We want to win, but sometimes you have to understand you can't win. So on this time we decided to let him ride to take the second place.
I think it was his first Tour of Flanders, if I'm not mistaken, where he got already second. Then he knew he really had the capacities to come close in Tour of Flanders. He was also the guy who invested a lot in the knowledge of the course. So he always came a few days early. He always asked to do recons with him, so that you really knew the course. I think one year he won Kuurne. He was also there 3 days before we did the recon, and he actually knew where he wanted to attack, and he was very precise on that. Yeah, and he raced all the time. The Flemish Classics are made for him because, beside many other races, almost 90% of the races a year, which is very controlled by teams. I think Flemish Classics are really open, and that really suits him.
Is Bob Jongels as well, just waiting, biding his time. He can't wait too long. Wout van Aert is there in the gold and black, looking wash-bish, but they're all going to get stung if they don't watch out here. EF Education first with a mighty bit of strategy. Now this is not the end of it, don't forget.
It was probably one of the hardest races I've ever done. I think I didn't really know what I was going into, and I was also active from the beginning to the end because I was there as a helper. So I was one of the first that was controlling the breakaways in the beginning, riding a bit, and then when the first attacks started to come, I followed, and somehow I managed to get off the front. And for a long time I was off the front until the last time on the Kwaremont, the favorites came back, and Bettiol, he passed and went solo to the finish, but I managed to get over with the other favorites, and then also get over the Paterberg, and then on the last 10 kilometer stretch to Oudenaarde, I got a gap thanks to Bob Jongels, especially. He like let me slide away through a curve, and then he just yelled go, and then I was just, have a gap, I need to go now, I need to go. I really didn't have the legs to do it, and I had so much cramps the last 2 kilometers. It was insanely hard, but incredible to do it.
Alaphilippe did not have the same legs as his teammate Kasper Asgreen, carrying great form out of the E3, which he had won.
We were discussing his contract, and he wanted absolutely speak with me, and I had to speak in this time with Ricardo and the DSs, and it took some time, and I said, yeah, hurry up, you have to sign him. And then he wanted to speak with me personally, Kasper. He said, listen Patrick, I know that you don't believe in the team, in me, that I can sprint, but I can. And if you don't believe it, I go to another team. And then he refreshed my mind that he won a sprint in California, a bunch sprint where he had to win the Tour even. And then another sprint, I forgot it already, in the Tour of Switzerland or something. And I still remember the meeting, and I said to Ricardo and the guys, listen, if you do the meeting, please don't say he can't sprint, because he won't sign. He won't sign. And then the Saturday I came there, I had the contract with me, and he said, yeah, I'm concentrated for tomorrow, and I'm nervous, and can we do it on Monday? So we let the race go, and everybody remembered at a certain moment he was in the breakaway, Mathieu van der Poel, who everybody thought was unbeatable.
The days before, we went already on Friday to the team hotel to prepare everything there, because the start was in Antwerp. And I remember that on Friday that there was like a talk that I asked him, if you go with those riders like Van der Poel to the finish line and it becomes to a sprint, do you think you can win? And without any second, he need to think. He said directly, yes, I can win from them.
What did I say?
Yes.
It's possible. That sounds like me.
Kasper is not somebody who doubts himself. He is a firm believer, as I am, in Kasper Asgreen. I'm not saying he's egocentric or something, which he really is not, but he for sure is a believer in Kasper Asgreen.
But yeah, Tour of Flanders as Tour of Flanders, 260 kilometers. And also radio commentators, TV commentators, everybody said, yeah.
He crashed. It was a big crash. It was in the middle of the crash. No panic, just easy. Just in his radio, I need a bike. We just gave him a new bike, went back to the peloton, and then, yeah, all the rest, we all know.
He suffered always on the Koppenberg. There was like a little bit of a black beast for him. But he came back, and at a certain point he was in the lead with Van der Poel, and I must say, Kasper was not slow. We knew that. He has a certain speed. So I must say, because it's always to say afterwards, we knew he had the chance to win, even in a sprint against Van der Poel, especially after a very hard race with Tour of Flanders always is.
But then I heard Tom Steels saying in the radio, Kasper, go for it, we believe in you, you can sprint.
I said that no way Kasper is gonna not win, because he already became second and is not coming all this way to do second again.
I was at the finish line with colleague Kevin Verstaal, and I remember that Kevin said, it will be difficult maybe to beat Van der Poel if they go in a sprint with two. But then my answer was, listen Kevin, I think he has a good chance because he's convinced. We spoke about that on Friday, and in the end, he was right.
300-meter marker comes up right now, and the shadow shots start to sharpen as knives would, and these guys with 250 meters to go. Can he do it? Will he do it? Van der Poel lights it up, and Asgreen comes up and over the top. Asgreen's coming alongside. Asgreen's there, but Van der Poel responds. It's mano a mano. He's going to have another. Oh, he hasn't got it. He's blown up at the very last, and Asgreen roars across the line.
That he showed really he had the legs to win the big classics, and then still in his national jersey was also nice.
The way he rode was impressive. At that moment he was for sure the strongest rider of the peloton. I was just so happy when I hear that he won, and when I saw the image after the race. The way he won the sprint, and he just deserved it. It was his dream to win Tour of Flanders, and this is also something I will never forget.
And it was, of course, a marvelous thing. We had a nice party. It was COVID, but we rented a B&B and we could do a small party in between us, and I was drinking with them and partying with them, but then I said, I cannot say this word with the F and K. But I say, again, I waited too long and it will cost me a lot of money.
2021 was one of the first finish lines I did in a classic, and immediately you won. It was really something special, together with Steven Franken, who is your main Spaniard, Steven. To share that moment with Steven and you, amazing. You also saw the picture afterwards, well, for me is one of the most beautiful pictures they took about me, together with you and Steven. Very special, was a very special moment.
I don't know if it was my goal, but it was definitely my dream. You know, it's the Spring Classics has a special place in my heart. I think it's the most exciting races of the whole year, and I always dreamed to be one of the big leaders in the classics. And coming into 2021. I had a few good runs in the classics already, with the winning Kuurne, the second in Flanders. So I had moved up a bit in the ranks in the team, and I was now one of the protected riders. And to then go and take those 2 victories and repay that trust and the work that the team had put in to get me to that point was really nice.
So I never really looked to what the other guys or the other teams were doing, because I knew when I had to be there. I didn't always succeed with being there when I had to be there in the beginning, but I was trying.
There was a long story before. We started Copenhagen, the Tour de France. He's Danish. The Tour de France came 200 meters from his house. And he did a very nasty crash in Switzerland. And I don't think afterwards it's too easy that he was 100% ready to do the Tour. But of course, a Danish guy to start the Tour de France in his land will be probably unique, and then passing through your village in the front of your house, he should have killed his mother to be part of the team. And he's an honest guy, really, he's an honest guy. He did, and then this leg every day, his quadriceps every day was losing volume.
We did some rehab with him, and he arrived at the start of the tour in Copenhagen. But myself, I needed to go home there because I was COVID positive. So I didn't saw him anymore in the first days, and after I think 8 or 9 or 10 days I went back when I was again negative. And I remember that I had him again the first time on the table in Lausanne. There was a finish in Lausanne that year. And I remember when he entered the room and he goes on my table that I saw his leg where he had the injury. And comparing to the other leg, he had almost no muscle anymore there. But the difference between the both legs was so big that I never saw this as a physio ever in my career as a physio. I never saw this. And then that night, I remember 1 o'clock, we had a meeting with our team doctor and the team management that we took him out of the Tour de France because it was not possible anymore.
And then to come back, training too hard, I think it's killed his body, and was some very, very tough times he had.
And then he was out for 8 months. It's a really, really long time. Now he fought back with ups and downs.
And I remember the first win after was probably the year after the Danish Nationals. And you sort of, now he's back on the right track, and I still believe he can win the big one.
It was the 18th stage, we didn't have a victory yet, which was the first time it took us this long.
Then a breakaway from start. And then one moment Victor Campenas joined the breakaway, and they went full gas until the punch almost catched him, and he won the sprint unexpected, but he won.
Kasper Asgreen kicks now. They're gonna make it. The breakaway. He's gonna go to the finish line. Behind his peers here from Asgreen. In the breakaway makes it. Asgreen takes the stage by about 10 meters.
And for us, it was quite emotional to win a stage after a difficult period, but the way he did it was also, was exceptional.
I was going back. Well, for Kasper and for the whole team, and I knew he was back.
Yeah, it was like the confirmation that okay, now I'm back. Now I can put this rehabilitation work and this injury completely behind me and say that doesn't have any influence anymore.
The way he won, often you see it after the finish line, when also the people of the organization are very enthusiastic, then you know it was a nice one.
And I would not say Kasper was very surprised. It's just a very special person, but that makes him very fun to work with, for me at least.
And the next day, he almost won again, doing again such a long breakaway with Mohori, because it saved a little bit our Tour de France.
Of course, a big relief for me personally, but also for all the people that helped me through it, the physios and the doctors and the trainers and sports directors, all the support staff that we have they also put in a lot of work and a lot of effort into help me get back from that injury, and it's also nice to put the dot at the end of that, and we can move on from it.
I really couldn't have done it without Pascal, Victor, and Jonas. They all did amazing out there, and
I think we both remember when I caught him in the middle of the season. I think his heart beating was going from 60 to 180 when I called him to finally say, we're gonna engage you. And he never forgot what we did for him. And of course, we can't forget what he meant for the team.
And I must say, Kasper was always somebody who gave a lot to the team. He was always grateful to the team also. If you did something for him, you always get it twice back. So you can never blame Kasper of not doing his job and doing what he had to do in good and bad days.
Please do me a favor, never ever change. Just remain like you are, just good old Kasper.
So in the end, Kasper on the bike is a great rider, but Kasper as a person, for myself, is also a great person.
Luckily, we still ride in the same bunch, so we will see each other a lot, and I wish him the best because he deserves it, and yeah, it will be strange to be not together anymore on the same team.
But yeah, we are pros. There are contracts, there are money, and sometimes you have to say stop with pain in the heart. Of course, the public doesn't know this, but at the end of the story, we are all human. Yeah.
Kaspy, I think that you will remember our last conversation on the last massage in Zurich with the Worlds this year. For me, I wish you all the best, and I just hope that the old Asgreen, and you know what I mean with the old Asgreen, I don't need to explain this is between you and me, that he will come back. So I hope in your next team that you will find again the shape and the power to make the same results as we did the past years ago in our team. So wish you all the best, and like we also said to each other, our friendship is not depending of a team jersey.
It's been so much fun, like entering the world's best classics team. When I turned pro was really a dream coming true. It was, like I mentioned earlier, it was my big dream to become a classics rider, and coming into Quick-Step and learning to do the classics with Quick-Step and with Tom Steels and Wilfred Peters and in the car, and the riders that we had there, Terpstra, Gilbert, Stibar, Jongels. It was such amazing riders and sports directors and but also coaches, and yeah, the whole setup, mechanics, about the technical side, and like the whole structure built around the classics there was an incredible environment to learn from. So I will forever be grateful for that, and I will also forever be grateful for all the Belgian fans. It's such a pleasure to ride in Belgium in the Quick-Step jersey and getting cheered on even when you're just out for a coffee ride. People recognize you, and it's something special. And I hope I hope, even though my jersey will be different next year, that people will not stop cheering for me, and I will definitely not stop cheering for the team. That's for sure.
Then, if you would have to look at yourself, because when I look at you, and I think a lot of fans are when they look at you, and they admire you for what you do, what you're capable of doing on the bike, and it looks like you're not afraid of anything. Okay, so if you had to describe yourself just with a name of a superhero, who would you be?
I'm not a superhero. I'm just playing on my bike.